Blog Talk Radio.
Me, and I am a woman that is also my brother's keepers. How we doing today, family? It is January 22nd, 2015, and we are truly blessed and honored for this day, being grateful to have been granted this day, family, as well as this show that we will be speaking about today. And you are listening to Sound Off Only Fear. But fear does not live here, and I am your host, Miss Tonya E. Family, I know this show today is going to be a very hot topic that needs to be spoken about. And again, like I just expressed, that I am so honored to have our two featured guests, my bros, my brothers, our fathers, our friends, our uncles. These gentlemen that we have online, family, we're going to get right into it because this time is definitely going to be fast but also informative. I would want to introduce you all first to our first bro, because I call bro, and like I said to them online before I came on, put them on hold. We have them as Mr. And indeed, they are Misters, and they're both gentlemen as well. But I had the pleasure of meeting Mr. James V. Jackson last year during a trip that I took with the Urban Hangover, I believe that was, 3, and for Las Vegas. And I've never been to Las Vegas, family. So that was my first trip to Las Vegas with a group of professionals coming from all over. And I went just for me, and my trips that I had just for me ended up turning more of a spiritual journey for me. So James probably only seen me one time, and there was reason why he only seen me that one time during the whole 4 days or 3 days we were there. But to any event, this gentleman is the essence of what a father, a man of God, a bro, and Kappa Alpha Psi, a friend to any of those that know of him. We're going to let him speak and introduce himself. And then we have Mr. Tyrone Burston. And again, another great man that I was able to meet this last December 2013. Our brother, comedian, is a father and comedian. And I was blessed to see him. I believe it was my first time seeing him, and he was at or not an audition, but some type of situation with D.C. Curry. And y'all know D.C. Curry is a funny man himself. And I witnessed Tyrone basically in his birthing of his stand-up, and I'm blessed to see him grow in what he is loving to do in the last 12, 13 months. So actually he's a returning guest. So without further ado, family, let's get into our topic as we continue this series, Who's Watching Who, Part 4, I'm My Brother's Keeper. I would like to welcome you all to our brother, Mr. James V. Jackson, and Mr. Tyrone Burston, a.k.a. Yellow Man. Are we there?
Good morning, yes.
Yes, good morning. Good to be here.
Okay, now, because I can distinguish which voice is who, I'm going to need you all to say your names when you respond to our listeners so they know exactly who is who. Is that okay, my bros?
That works. That was James.
Yes,
okay.
That's fine. This is Tyrone. I know I sound like I'm dark-skinned, but it's Yellow Man, though. Yeah, I got it.
And he looks like Sinbad, a younger Sinbad. I forgot to say that. So, yes, James, you got to check Mr. Tyrone Burston out. He's originally from Okay, listen, why don't we do this? This here Sound Off, we're very interactive. There is no silent moment or dull moment because that's not what we do. We keep it real. Introduce you yourselves to our listeners, and then we'll break bread from there. How about that?
Sounds good. This is my name is James Jackson, and Tonya, I appreciate the invite to be a guest on your show. And Brother Tyrone, it's an absolute pleasure to meet you, my brother. My name is James Jackson. I am a resident of Michigan and a proud father of 3 daughters. So I'm always interested to talk about topics of young men, because one day these young men will be knocking on my door. So I'm always interested to talk about these topics. I also work for a member of the United States Senate as a congressional staffer, and I'm also a proud member of Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated, celebrating 25 years this year.
Y'all only heard one hand clap because it's only me in here. Okay, so yay! Next up, let's go.
Yes, this is Tyrone Burston, comedian Tyrone Burston. And James, it's a pleasure to meet you as well. I'm a professional stand-up comedian. I've been doing it for about 17 months. I'm also a proud father of 3 children. I have 2 boys and a girl, ages 11, 8, and 4. So this topic today is really going to touch my heart. I can't wait to get into it. And I'm just excited to be here. So I'm ready when you are, Tonya. Thanks again for having me for the second time.
Bros. Let's do this. Y'all already know, both of you all done seen me in action. Like I said, James, when I met you last year, I literally probably seen you that one time. And we're not going to discuss the environment. But what we will say, it was interesting.
Definitely.
No. Right, we're seeing each other first at the pool party, then a little after situation. But, again, it was a pleasure to meet you. And like I said, what you did not know is that I was literally on a spiritual journey that weekend, which that was not my intentions. It was for me just to go out and have a good time, enjoy me. But when you, in God's, on God's assignment, there is never nothing about you. So, but I was appreciative to have been there and to meet the distinguished people that were there, including yourself. So, Tyrone and James, let's get into it. My brother's keepers. Let's tell our listeners first, what is your definition, or what is your perspective of my brother's keepers, as you all are being the fellow brothers to your fellow brothers?
Well, this is James, and this is something that I have been passionate about for years, through just my personal life, through my fraternity. I mean, I remember a fraternity that talks about brotherhood. Fraternities are built on brotherhood. They are built on looking out for each other, helping, supporting each other, mentoring each other, and that's what Kappa's about. That's what all the Greek organizations, all the fraternities are really about, and we take that very seriously. One of my favorite definitions I learned when I was initiated into the fraternity was altruism. And the definition of altruism is the unselfish concern for the welfare of others. And I take that very seriously. When we talk about our brother's keeper, we want to be individuals, and we are individuals, but we're also part of a much bigger collective, a much bigger environment. And I think it is all of our responsibilities to make sure that we are being inspiring to the brother next to us, to being a support system to the brother next to us. There's no way that I would have gotten to where I am today on my own if it wasn't for the grace of God and an amazing support system, including my brothers, both blood brothers, fraternity brothers, and men of God. I would not be where I am today. So I take this topic extremely seriously.
Tyrone?
Yes.
What are you doing over there? You still writing, man? Are you not paying attention? Yeah. Come on.
I'm paying attention, yes.
You're comedian, but let's go. You're next.
All right. So, yeah, James, he hit it right on the button. I definitely agree with that. Today is actually my oldest brother's birthday, so I grew up in Hartford, Connecticut. It's AKA, also known as Homicide Hartford. So when I think of, am I my brother's keeper, the first thing comes to my mind is my older brother. We grew up rough, between our parents and the streets. My brother actually kept me out of trouble, when his friends And my friends wanted me to come and chill with him and do the terrible street things. My brother actually kept me in the house. You know, he didn't allow me to run the streets with him. So I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for him. And I also believe that, you know, they asked Albert Einstein, and he's one of the most intelligent people to ever walk this earth. And they had asked him one time, you know, what does he think the purpose of man is on earth? And his simple response was service. You know, he believes that man is here to serve men. So I believe in comedy and in life, you know, our main purpose is to serve one another in a positive way. You know, so I use my comedy to help others, other inspiring comedians underneath me who want to get on stage or who want to pursue this dream. I reach out to them and I help them as much as I can. A lot of people don't know this about me, but I'm actually using comedy as a tool to become a motivational speaker. You know, growing up in the city of Hartford, Connecticut, it's rough. So my main goal is to be a 10-year veteran in the comedy game. I'm only 17 months in, so I track every single day. I'm going to use comedy as my profession to go back home or to go anywhere in the country and to speak to the youth and just to let them know that, you know, there is a way out. You know, I want to inspire children that don't really know what they want to be in life and to just each one teach one. You know, I want to give back to the community and hopefully touch a brother or a sister. You know, when we say I'm my brother's keeper, of course, it's for men and women. As of right now, I'm tutoring a young lady in the comedy game, and she's so grateful. Every time she sees me, you know, she thanks me and, you know, above and beyond of how I've taken her from her couch out into, you know, the scene of comedy and giving her inspiration on how to become a better comedian, and it's helping her a lot in life and in comedy. So, you know, I just want to serve others, you know, in a positive way. So that's about it.
And that's awesome, because that is exactly what our purpose for being here is. It is to be servants. And unfortunately, we have become a society that have not completely taken the right torch of what our ancestors have paved the way for us. And as you all know as well as me being a community activist and an advocate for our youth, I believe in that it takes a village to raise children. It's not just it's children now, because we had that village. And James, if you can tell us how you actually became so interested in the politics, and what was your first job, and who was your mentor, and who gave you that hands up and walking in the field that you're walking in now?
Absolutely. You know, prior to getting into the political world, I was in corporate America. I was in corporate America for 16 years as a banker, and I can tell you there is in my experience in corporate America was, you know, it was very profit driven. It was very, you know, you gotta, you know, make the most money you can make, and all of this, and it was dog eat dog. I mean, it really was. And but even within that environment, there were other corporate, you know, executives who would take you under their wing. When I left corporate America, I got into politics through a fraternity brother of mine who was serving in a local office here in the community and convinced me to run for public office, and ended up getting elected to the local school board where I served for almost 5 years. And at the end of that time, that same fraternity member was also working for a member of the U.S. Congress and asked me if I would join their staff. And that's really how I got into politics. So it was truly, you know, a brother looking out for another brother and saying, hey, there's an opportunity here, you know, that I think you're qualified for. Come over and take a look at it. And it was just, you know, it happens just like that. But we have to look out for each other like that. You know, one of the things that I've seen both in corporate America and in the public sector is that there are so many opportunities out here that don't appear on my brother's radar. And it truly is up to us to pass the word and to help expand a organization's employee search so that more brothers can be made aware of opportunities in different environments, and I'll wrap up with this part, is that especially in government, in the type of job that I have, these jobs don't get posted. These jobs you won't find on monster.com. You won't find them through a Google search. These jobs are truly based on people recommending other people for positions. And if you're not in that circle, if you're not, connected to somebody, a lot of these jobs you never even hear about. You'll never hear about them. And you always wonder, how did those folks get those jobs? And I'm telling you, it is because brothers looking out for other brothers get you in the door. And that's just an important aspect of I think this discussion that we're having today.
Now, you know what? I'm grateful that you so said that. Both of you all are just speaking true wisdom, and I appreciate you all once again for being here and being so informative and just being you. In doing that, a lot of times, like I was saying to Ty earlier, that I know us being a woman, we are very emotional creatures. We always know. We know this. Unfortunately, a lot of my sisters do not embrace that, and we have caused so much damage to you all. So I want to first say I apologize for what I may have done, for what my sisters have done, what our mothers, what our aunts, our cousins, our neighbors may have done to damage you in a younger age that may have caused you to look at us as sisters, as women that can be on your level in a negative way. Unfortunately, we all have been in matters and circumstances that we didn't have any control of, that was spoken into our ears, that were saying, well, men are this, men are dogs, and then you got the men saying, oh, she's a itch, and going back and forth with this recyclable way of speaking, we're hurting each other. So me saying that, I want both you all's perspective on how can we come together from you all's perspective with the brothers that don't have your caliber. And we understand that we wasn't born with no silver spoon, but there was something in someone that gave us that chance. And so many of our brothers today are hurting because they don't know who to speak with. They're hurting because they look at you and assume that you think you better than the next. They're hurting because you are repping a fraternity or you're in a circle that don't mix with their personalities or character. What is your perspective on how to reach these gentlemen, our young men that are growing up without fathers? Give us your perspective.
Well, this is Tyrone. And Tonya, I appreciate your apology. I really do. On the behalf of the women that, we all feel like we've been done wrong by them, or like you said, women are emotional creatures. I had it rough growing up, even with my mom starting out. And I'm currently married, going through a separation on my own, so it is rough. But I believe the way to reach anyone is just through action. And, comedy has blessed me, as a proven fact on that, because I'm always posting on social media where I am. I'm staying on the mic, I'm working hard, and people can see your actions, So I think actions speak louder than words. But I'm trying to use both. I want people to see me out here working, and I want them to reach out to me, and then I'll verbally convey to them, how they can too, work hard and achieve the greater things in life. I recently went to a parent-teacher conference for my third grader, my middle child, and as soon as I got there, the teacher said, your son always tells us that you're a comedian. And, I don't boast about it around my children, but I just thought it was interesting that he would tell his classmates and his teacher. So they're going to actually bring me there in April for a career day. And the teacher was so excited explaining it to me. She was like, we can't wait to have you, because all the other career day people we've had, the kids are just bored of them. And they don't actually know this, but I actually went to a humor academy to become a comedian. I actually went to school for it. So a lot of the kids don't think they don't think you need to continue school to get a great job, So this is one of those things that I'm looking forward to letting the young kids know that, school is very important, And anything you want to do in life, you're going to have to further your education one way or another. So I believe actions speak louder than words. And I want people to reach out to me through my actions, and then I'll verbally convey it to them and inspire them to do the same, no matter what it is, whether it's comedy, politics, corporate America. Just work hard, and good things will come unto you.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think Tyrone's right on the money with that. There are for those that truly want to be your brother's keeper. I mean, there are so many ways to do that. I mean, just with in your own communities, in your own neighborhoods. The not only the kid next door, and this is one thing that I would say about this. When we talk about my brother's keeper, I don't want people to just focus on mentoring to youth, because there are adults that need mentoring as well. There are adults that need that brotherly connection, so that we don't miss a generation trying to help out the next generation, because we all need help. I even in my role where I am now, I still have mentors. I still have folks that I go to for advice. I mean, there are people that know a lot more than I know about the field that I'm in, and I go to them. And we should be able to lean on our brothers of all ages for advice and mentorship. And for those that want to mentor, there are so many opportunities to do that. I was contacted this week by Big Brothers Big Sisters. I mean, they are always looking for male mentors, always. And so if you have a desire to do that, reach out to your local chapter of Big Brothers Big Sisters. Within the Greek organizations, all the Greek organizations have mentoring programs for young adults. And just like Kappa Alpha Psi we have our Kappa League, where we mentor young men. But we also mentor our younger brothers in the fraternity, our undergraduates. We work with our undergraduates. I am a chapter advisor for one of the undergraduate chapters here in the Detroit area, and I try to help mentor those brothers. And then, like I said, my peers, the folks in my age group and older than me, I look to them for mentorship for myself. So mentorship comes in all shapes and sizes and hits all levels. It's just not about mentoring the youth.
Exactly, brothers. And I, again, appreciate the both of you all. And saying that, too, let's talk about a little bit of what's going on with our brothers being killed unharmed and being stereotyped because of the color of skin. As you both know, I done went through some situations a couple of months ago in my own hometown trying to return back home. That's being dealt with right now. But when something happens with us, it's like, okay, well, where's the father? Or they living in the hood. Or his pants are sagging. Or, all these different stereotypes of, hey, it happens to all of us. What would you all say, and where we at right now, 2015, opposed to what our ancestors were going through way before that? It's like we're in a recyclable moment again. The clock has been turned back. What is your perspective on talking to our fathers that are not being fathers, like the both of you all said, your fathers are 3, so we have 6 kids right here, plus my son, 7 kids and 3 parents that we are responsible for, not just for our kids, but for all those that they come in contact with that may not have the father in the home, that now a lot of single fathers, which we don't speak about, which is happening. What can we say to those that are not in the position of may have the strength that we have? What words can you all give to them of encouragement? And knowing that, like James, you said earlier, you too go through things. Tyrone, you go through things. I know I definitely go through things, but not to get stuck and blame your circumstances and allow your children to become product of that unhealthy circumstance.
Right. This is Tyrone speaking. As far as the black males, young and old, being shot down and killed unarmed by police officers or even each other. Like I said before, I'm from Hartford,
each
Connecticut.
Each other, too, so let's not forget that.
Right, absolutely. I'm that city is rough. I lost my 19-year-old brother to gun violence. I mean, he was murdered a couple houses down from where he lives, just one shot, one kill. And I'm going to raise my children and teach them the way that I was brought up, because my father was in and out my life as a young man. And I never forget this. When I was in junior high school, I was in a program. It was an all-boys program. It's called the Benjamin E. Mays Institute. And it was to turn young boys into young men. And we actually had a class each and every day, 30-minute class on how to speak to the police officers. Now, I have a different take on this. I'm not sentimental to the police officers gunning down our black men, looking at the stories and what's been happening. It was simply told to me as a young man. Unfortunately, and I agree with this because I'm here today. I'm alive. I haven't been brutally attacked by the police. I haven't been shot at. I haven't been arrested. And it's simply because I know my place and I did exactly what my mentors told me to do as a young man. And to me, it's simple, but it's hard to deal with at the same time. And I'm going to just say this. My mentors told me growing up, you simply just do as the police ask you to do. In my hood, where I'm from, there is no back talking. There is no trying to tell the officer what your rights are. You're not going to do this and you're not going to do that. That's how you get slapped upside your head, or you get shot at, or you get cuffed and beat up. If the officer asks you to step out your vehicle, you step out your vehicle. You say, yes, officer, no, officer. You don't pull that card where you know your rights, and because that's when things go left field. That's when things go haywire. So I'm going to teach my kids the same way I was taught. Just do as the officer tells you to do. Don't get smart with them. This, that, and the fifth. Just stay alive. That's not the time to show your rights. Do it in the courtroom. But don't do it right then and there, because you can lose your life in an instant. So I would just tell the young brothers and sisters, people my age and older, just kind of just do as you're told, because we're seeing now with the Michael Brown situation, the cop said that the kid, punched him and all this old craziness. If he was being accused of stealing something, all he had to do was just stand there and let the officer handcuff you, whether he's right or wrong. Just let the court systems figure it out, and that brother probably would be alive today, So I just have a different take on it, because where I'm from and what was told for me, growing up, I just say do as you're told and live to see another day, rather than fight for your rights and something crazy happens.
Yeah, I have to totally agree with that. I live in the Metro Detroit area, and and violence is everywhere, and when it comes to dealing with the police, I mean, the best advice I can give anybody, and I tell my kids this, and I tell other young men this: when a police officer approaches you and gives you instructions, comply with those instructions. If you feel like you're being wrong, you still comply, because there are ways for you to deal with that. You cannot, you're never going to win going toe-to-toe with an armed police officer. They have the law on their side at that moment, mm-hmm. and they have the tools necessary to subdue you if necessary. So understand that there are ways to deal with that after the fact. There is a process, there is a system that you can deal with this where you don't lose your life trying to do that. When you think about Eric Gardner up in New York, and to resist arrest, and and then it becomes and now we're all after he's dead, we're all talking about what could have happened, what should have happened. Did the police officer choke him out and use excessive force? That's all after the fact. But understand that if you were there trying to stand toe-to-toe with the police and argue your right to stand on that sidewalk or your right to do that or the other, and they start calling for backup, guess what? You have lost that argument for the moment. and you need to comply. There are ways to deal with this after the fact, and it's not worth losing your life over to argue your point at that moment. There are ways to do it, and we have to be smarter. We can't wear our ego on our shoulder all the time and be so easily pushed to defiance. And it doesn't mean comply, it doesn't mean just give up, but it means choose your battles and fight the battles in a way that you can win your argument. Because at the end of the day, it's not about, I was the biggest and baddest in that moment. It's who wins the argument. I just saw, as many people, millions of people did, saw the movie Selma. And it talked about, it really showed how Dr. King approached dealing with laws, dealing with government, dealing with the local police. And he was criticized. Many people criticized his nonviolent approach. But understand that he won the war and not the battle. Sometimes he did have to lose the battle in order to win the war. But he understood that it's more than just this moment. I have to win the bigger argument to actually change society. And that's what we have to push past the moment. We've got to win the overarching battle, the overarching war, so that our young men can grow up in a society where they aren't, profiled and they aren't looked at the way that they are.
Hey, James, I really appreciate you taking that stance, man. That's awesome, man. That's my first time coming out publicly on my opinion on, the police and how we should deal with them. And I've talked to some of my brothers from my neighborhood, and they disagree. They say, "Oh, you a punk if you don't stand up for your rights," and they'll continue to treat us the way they do. But you're the first brother I've heard really. We both have the same mindset on that, and it's like you said, it's about winning the war and not the battle. Just live to see another day. It's really not that serious to throw your ego out there, and because it could go left field real fast. Man, I've seen it done a million times. So that was a great point, man. Good job, James, on that, man. That was great.
Thank you.
And I actually, listening to you, James, I was recanting my last situation that happened actually yesterday and in New York. And you said war and battle, so these are different. And you all know I'm a freedom fighter. I stand for justice. However, I know too that I have to know when not to. So I'm still on that learning because I'm so passionate about justice for all. And I still have to be here for my twin. And like you said, deal with it in the court. So that's where we at right now in the court on my last situation in New York. So I thank you for that deliverance, which is so plain and clear and understandable for even a child to understand. War, battle, two different things. Bro, I know this 30 minutes, we actually over 30 minutes, and you all didn't even know that, did you?
No.
That's what I'm talking about, because we speak truth and we love and we're passionate in what we're doing. So I want to thank you too for coming on again, and know that your time and presence and wisdom is greatly appreciated and never taken for granted. Okay, and I would love to have you all back again when we do another series of My Brother's Keepers. And if you'd like to come on and just call me and say, Tonya, let's talk about such and such. We got something going on. Let's talk about it, because we're here at Sound Off Only Fear Fears. But listen, fear does not live here to speak about the solution. So if you have something going on, James, in Detroit that we all can come to, let us know. Because like you said, there's a lot of things that are not posted on monsters.com or anything other that is in the forefront, but given behind closed doors or who you know. And again, I feel that we need to try to know what we know, expand it out to those that may not know. So we create a vehicle so others can get it that are indeed appreciative of getting it, not wasting our time nor our reference a recommendation. So before I let you all go, and I said let you all very nicely because I love you all and I don't want y'all to go, but I know you both have so much things to do and you're multitasking behind the screens. I can see it. What would your words of today be as we move forward to I'm gonna have you all both speak to men at this point in our age bracket, and sisters. And why don't you all, because I'd like you all to say something to sisters too that are listening. What can we do right now that we can break what I call and known as being generational curse within our community, with us being together, so that we can build together and stop tearing us apart? What would be your message, one by one, and then we're going to close out the show after that. Okay. Y'all want to go?
This is James.
Sorry.
No.
No,
what I would say,
you know what, before we go to, I'm sorry to cut you all off, and before we go to, give out your information if folks can get in contact with you as well, and Ty, I want you to also tell us about your upcoming ventures with your comedy show here, as well as James, what you're doing, like I said, and your contact information. So I forgot to say that, but I'm sorry, so let's go.
No problem. I would probably say that the advice I would give to folks in our peer group, both male and female, is that our generation has to get more involved in our communities. We have to, and this begins at home. I mean, I said I'm a father of 3 girls, and we have to be involved in the community. People have to see you. People tell me a lot. And I hear this, people say, I saw, you didn't know what impact you had on me. I watched your career or things like that. You never know who's watching you. So the first thing I would say is, I would probably say get more involved in your community and act and carry yourself in a way that inspires others. And this goes for my daughters. It goes for the young men that want to date my daughters one day. Carry yourself in a way that you want to inspire other people. And that's on your job, that's in your community, that's parents going to PTA meetings and getting involved in their kids' schools, helping them with their homework. I mean, it's simple stuff like that. And spending time. I spend so much time with my daughters because I want them to know. I want them to know what a relationship with a man should be like. I teach them, I walk on the sidewalk, to make sure they know that, a gentleman should be on the outside. I open the doors for my girls. And I try to show them and give them examples so that when they are looking at young men, they have a scale to judge them on. And I want my young brothers to be the same way. I want my brothers to understand how they should carry themselves, how they should act professionally. I'll go and help teach a class on how to do simple things like tie a tie. Many young men don't know how to tie a tie. And so, I try to do that, and I try to carry myself in a way that sets a good example for others. And I just feel like that's just so important. And I'll give you my contact information. I'm a huge social network person, big on Facebook, probably more than I should be. But on Facebook, I'm James V. Jackson, and then on my email, I'll give you my email, which is J V as in Victor Jackson 1911@gmail.com.
All right.
Thank you. Tyrone, would you stop writing over there?
Okay, yeah. So what I would say to the young brothers and sisters and just all age groups, I believe in positive affirmations. So, if you have a goal in life, just become that person today. Don't wait until you feel like you've reached that goal. Be the person that you want to be today. Some of my positive affirmations I live by daily is worry looks around, sorry looks back, but faith looks up. and use your brain. They say that everything in a man besides his brain could be found in a pig or a horse. So, I mean, if you want to achieve the greater things in life, you have to use your mind. That's the gold mine to achieving goals and to getting rich. And I always say when people ask me how you doing, I say, listen, I'm doing so good I can hardly stand it. If I was doing any better, I'd be worried. I'm just so excited to be here. I'm happy to see another day. And I'm just excited all the time. I never have a bad day. I would speak nothing negative. Everything with me is positive, so I'm doing big things. I'm 17 months in the game. That's like a newborn baby in comedy. I don't feel like I've achieved anything, but the Lord is opening up many doors for me. I'm about to host my own comedy show every single week on Wednesdays here in Charlotte, North Carolina at the Press Box. That's 9609 North Tryon Street, starting February 11th. I will be the host every single Wednesday. I got to bring it with high energy. They got to see my light-skinned face every Wednesday. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I'm going to do it. I ain't got that many jokes, but I'll figure something out. I got a show tonight. Thank you so much. I got a show tonight in Concord. It's raining, it's nasty outside, but we're going to bring the funny. They say, this is an interesting fact, too. They say children, toddlers, they laugh 250 to 300 times a day. You ever notice a toddler, they're never, miserable or down and out. Kids love to laugh. And as adolescents, when you get into your teenage years, the number falls off to about 50 to 75 laughs a day. And us adults, just us right here, we laugh, a good laugh, maybe 13 times a day.
With the cold weather incoming, what's the obvious choice for a backyard upgrade? Hint, it's a Solo Stove. Solo Stoves are smokeless, and that's not blowing smoke. With the patented design with signature 360-degree airflow technology to feed the flames and burn off smoke before it gets into your hair or clothes. Create the perfect atmosphere this fall. With over 222,000 five-star reviews, Solo Stove is the ultimate fire pit. Just ask Snoop Dogg. With countless sizes, there's a Solo Stove for every backyard. From tabletop fire pits to pizza ovens and even fire pits designed to sit 8+ people, there's something for everyone. With the lifetime warranty, enjoy the comfort of your 100% stainless steel fire pit without the worry of it breaking. Solo Stoves are built to last, not just for the season, but forever. Get yours now at solostove.com.
Everybody's worried about the election. You know what the word politics means from the Latin? Poly meaning many, ticks from the Latin for blood-sucking animal. If you're like most people and you're worried about the election and how it affects your financial future, listen to me, Josh Jelinski, the financial quarterback. Every week I tackle retirement planning, financial strategies, and today's headlines that matter the most to you. Subscribe to the Financial Quarterback Podcast on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.